high above, it's easy to see the scope of the mid-morning garage collapse that shook North Texas.
When it fell, we could feel it vibrate the office.
But for those coming out to survey the damage by ground, it was a little more difficult to take in, especially the few who almost found themselves in the middle of it.
And we're walking to get in my manager's car, and he literally probably a 15-second walk away from getting into his car, which is in the hole now.
But while the dozens who lost cars were counting their lucky stars they weren't inside, they couldn't help wondering how this happened.
Kind of a crazy disaster for something like this to happen.
But we know more now than we used to.
As a civil engineer, Benjamin Thompson has conducted forensics engineering investigations similar to what will now happen here in coming days.
The number one thing that we as engineers want to know is what caused it and how are we going to prevent that in the future. And so that I think is the most important thing that the public should know.
For now, he says the answers could be anything from weather conditions to shifting soil to poor design. But what he says is sure is that this is a highly unusual situation. He says good design shows warning signs before catastrophe strikes.
Concrete structures are meant to be ductile, which means that as they're failing, you want it to spend as much time failing as possible. So if you start to see structures and structural beams bowing and giving, then that's something that should be an indicator to get out of there.
Whether that happened remains unknown, but Thompson feels confident we'll eventually know the answer to why, even if it takes weeks or even months to figure out. Now, to learn more about the garage today, we requested both building permits and inspection reports from the city of Irving, but we are still waiting to receive those. Live in Irving, Allie Spilliards, NBC5.
All right, Allie, thank you. And earlier today, they were letting some people in to get to their cars in the part of the garage that was unaffected, but after that second collapse, no one was allowed in. And at this point, it's too soon to know if anyone will ever be allowed back in.